know the truth and you choose to pay for rape, abuse, and murder.
The tragic irony is this vegan activist is making a mother feel guilty for a choice that might actually cause less harm than her own. That's not a guess. That's what the data shows. But this video is about more than just almond milk. It's about what happens when rules become more important than results, and purity becomes more important than the planet.
Every time you buy meat, dairy, or eggs, you are supporting animal abuse. Once again, this isn't about vegans. We are not extreme. What is extreme is saying that you're against animal cruelty while you pay for animal cruelty every time you buy meat, dairy, or eggs.
Before we get into specifics, let's step back and ask, what is veganism actually for? Most people arrive at it for one of three reasons, or some combination of all three. First, ethics. The belief that animals shouldn't suffer for human convenience. Second, environment. The recognition that animal agriculture is a leading driver of emissions, deforestation, and ecological collapse. Third, health. The evidence that plant-based diets can reduce the risk of chronic disease. These are good reasons. We share them. But here's the problem. The rules that emerged from these principles don't always serve them. Sometimes a food is technically vegan, but causes enormous harm. Sometimes a food is technically not vegan, but causes almost none. And when we prioritize the definition over the outcome, we end up in strange places. Let's start with almond milk, a staple of plant-based eating. According to reporting from The Guardian, California produces roughly 80% of the world's almonds. Growing those almonds requires approximately 1.1 gallons of water per single nut. The industry uses around 10% of California's entire agricultural water supply, more than the cities of Los Angeles and San Francisco combined, in a state that has been in drought conditions for most of the past decade. But the water isn't even the worst part. Almond trees can't self-pollinate. They require bees, specifically commercial honeybees trucked in from across the country every spring to pollinate the orchards. Roughly 50 billion bees died between 2018 and 2019, with many beekeepers pointing to almond pollination as a primary cause. The bees are woken from winter dormancy early, transported long distances, exposed to pesticides, and concentrated in massive numbers that spread disease. Scientists believe that almonds are sprayed with more pesticides than almost any other California crop, including chemicals known to be lethal to bees. So here's the question. If veganism is about reducing harm to animals, why is almond milk on the approved list? The answer is that it doesn't come from an animal. It's plant-based. Therefore, it's vegan. But the bees don't care about our definitions.
Most of the bee moving all is done at nighttime. The bees all come home in the evening and come in after dusk. So we wait till the bees are all home, and then we go out there and load them, and send them on their merry way. And so when the semi-truck gets to its destination, there'll be a beekeeper there that's going to unload that truck and put them out in the almond orchard, the apples, the blueberries, or what have you. The farmer basically pays us for bringing the bees in. Depends what the crop is. Almonds in California, the going rate right now is anywhere from $165 to $225 a hive. And that's for a period of, 5 to 6 weeks while the almond bloom is.
Which brings us to honey. Honey is explicitly excluded from vegan diets. The Vegan Society states clearly that harvesting honey constitutes exploitation, taking a food source that bees produce for themselves. And there are legitimate concerns. Commercial beekeeping can involve wing clipping, artificial insemination, and culling of entire hives. Those practices are harmful. But here's where it gets complicated. Small-scale, ethical beekeepers who harvest only surplus honey, who leave enough for their bees to survive winter, who avoid chemicals and prioritize colony health, are they causing more harm than the almond industry? The question isn't rhetorical. It's mathematical. An estimated 50 billion bees died in 1 year from almond production. Meanwhile, well-managed apiaries can actually support local bee populations by providing habitat and forage. Yet one product is vegan, the other isn't. The rule is clear. The logic isn't. Now let's talk about palm oil. Palm oil is in roughly 50% of packaged products in Western supermarkets, from cookies to shampoo to vegan cheese. It's plant-based, so it's technically vegan. But according to the World Wildlife Fund, palm oil production is the leading cause of deforestation in Indonesia and Malaysia. An area of rainforest the size of 300 football pitches is cleared every hour to make room for palm plantations. These forests are home to critically endangered species. Fewer than 80,000 orangutans survive today. The Orangutan Foundation International estimates that between 1,000 and 5,000 orangutans are killed every year in palm oil concessions, starved, displaced, or deliberately killed as pests. The Sumatran tiger, the pygmy elephant, the Sumatran rhino, all face extinction pressures driven significantly by palm oil demand. Palm oil is plant-based. It doesn't come from an animal. Therefore, technically, it's vegan. But thousands of orangutans would disagree if they could. We could keep going. Second-hand leather. No animal is harmed by buying a used jacket, yet many vegans refuse to wear it. Backyard eggs from rescued hens. The eggs will be laid regardless. The hens live comfortable lives. No industry is supported, yet the eggs are off limits. Local, wild-caught fish from sustainable populations versus imported, processed vegan protein shipped across oceans. Which causes more total harm? The point isn't that veganism is wrong. The point is that rigid rules can become disconnected from the values that created them. When someone feels morally superior for drinking almond milk while condemning local honey, something has drifted. When a vegan cheese full of palm oil is acceptable, but an oyster from a regenerative marine farm isn't, the logic has inverted. Let's be clear about what we're not saying. We're not saying veganism is pointless. Plant-based eating remains one of the most effective ways to reduce your environmental footprint. We're not saying anything goes. Factory farming is an ethical catastrophe. Industrial animal agriculture is destroying the planet. These are not close calls. And we're not saying labels don't matter at all. Categories help us navigate a complex world. Veganism has given millions of people a framework for making better choices. But frameworks can become cages. Rules designed to reduce harm can become rituals that prioritize purity over impact. The planet doesn't care what you call yourself. It doesn't track whether your diet fits a definition. It doesn't award points for ideological consistency. It responds only to what we actually do, the pressure we place on ecosystems, the suffering we cause or prevent, the weight we lift or add. A vegan who eats high-impact foods, flies frequently, and judges others for imperfection is not automatically better for the world than an omnivore who eats local, seasonal food and makes thoughtful choices about what they consume. So what do we do with this? We're not here to tell you that honey is fine or that oysters are vegan. Those are decisions you'll make for yourself. But we are here to suggest that the rules deserve questioning. That definitions created decades ago may not map perfectly onto our current understanding of ecology, sentience, and harm. That purity can become its own form of blindness. If veganism is about reducing suffering and protecting the planet, then every choice should be measured against those goals, not against a checklist. Some vegan foods cause tremendous harm. Some non-vegan foods cause almost none. Pretending otherwise doesn't help the animals, the environment, or the movement. What helps is honesty. What helps is nuance. What helps is caring more about outcomes than labels. The planet is not keeping score of your dietary identity. It's keeping score of what you actually do.